Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending our council meeting today. We're going to reconvene back from recess now at 1 p.m. And I'd ask council at this time if you could please attend to the item 3A, the agenda. Do you have any added items at this time? Seeing none then, I would ask for adoption of the agenda as presented. Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would move that we adopt the council agenda for Monday, February 8th, 2016.
Before I move forward with the minutes, I would like to thank the Deer Meadow Grade 6 class for attending. I'm sorry, I knew that too because I saw the kids out there. Holy Trinity class for attending our council meeting today, and all other delegations that I see out in the audience, and citizens for attending today. I do see some citizens here today. Welcome. Moving down now on the adoption of the Yes, we're good with the the agenda as presented. So those in favor? That's carried. Just ask our recording clerk, you did catch that Councillor Harper did have to leave for a brief time. Thank you. And Councillor Overwater. Council is 1 mayor and 6 councillors, and you will note that we don't have quite a full house today. We also have 1 councillor. Overwater is on vacation, so we're going to work with your questions with who we are today. All right, adoption of the previous minutes, please. And we have a little different format here. I'll just bring to your attention. I see that our minutes, our regular council meeting minutes, all the previous attachments were attended in this agenda as well. So instead of 3 to page 9, that's the page 3 to 9 is the actual minutes, and then I see the attachments are Marcy had added to that too. So item 4A, special council meeting minutes of January 25th. Please, can I get a motion on the floor? Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the minutes from the January 25th, 2016 special council meeting be adopted as presented.
At this time, I ask council if you have any questions with regards to the minutes. This was a special council meeting that council held at the Mountain View County office. It was very special to us because it was signing an agreement with the Mountain View County, and so we can work with them for the next 9 years and do lots of great business and try and build some partnerships within the county and the town for the future. All right, if there's no further questions, I call for the vote. Those in favor? That's carried. Please, a resolution then for the regular council meeting, and I'd go with Councillor Baruchel.
Thank you, Worship. I move that we adopt the regular council meeting minutes for January 25th, 2016.
Thank you, Councillor Baruchel. And just for your attention, please, I have an amendment. If you want to go to page 8, item 9A, it should read under reports from council. Mayor Dahl reported the mayor's prayer breakfast for 2016 will be held on May 1st, Tuesday. If we could strike May 2nd, that would be great. And I'm sorry, yes, January, March, April, May. Oh, yeah, that's really wrong. It's March, and it's March 1st. It's Tuesday, March 1st, and it is a new venue this year at Pomeroy, and we are looking to sell tickets to students and the community. So thank you. If there's any further questions or additions from council? Hearing then, I'll look for a motion, please, to adopt as amended. And I do have Councillor Baruchel on the floor for that. All right, no further questions or comments? Do you have a question, administration, at all? You're good? All those in favor? That's carried, thank you. All right, now's our presentation time, page 30 of your agenda. And I hope you kids, students are comfortable back there. And we did receive your list of, no, that's not, it says page 30 to 31. Yeah, we're very good. All right, we have a list, and what I think I would like to do then, I see your names are attached to the questions. Is that still the standard you'd like to use? All right, so if I could please have Wyatt, Mr. Wyatt, stand, and we'll pass you a microphone, and you can ask the question. Mr. Wyatt?
How long have you been part of?
You have to hold it really close to your mouth.
How long have you been part of town council?
Okay, the question is, how long have you been part of town council? And we'll just do a round table because everybody has something different, and we'll start with Councillor Walsh.
Hi, Wyatt. I've been on council for 14 years. So how old are you? Oh, so I've been here longer than you have.
I've been on council for 5 years.
Wyatt, this is my first term, so about 2.5 years.
Hi, Wyatt. I've been on for 5 years. Second term.
And just to help you understand a little bit, so how it works is, I've been on council for what I say 3 terms, but the first 9 years, 3 terms was 3 years at one time. And then along came 2013 when they changed a term to 4 years. So we always refer it to as a term. Councillor Walsh, so, like Councillor Baruchel said, it's your second term now. His first term was 3 years, and his second term is now 4 years, and it'll be 4 years now until the government province changes it again. So, hi, I'm Mayor Judy, and I've been on council for 4 terms, which means a total of 13 years when the 4 terms is up, because we do have to work until our term is up, and that's in October 2017. Thank you. Very good question. All right, let's call Miss Olivia up, or pass the mic to her.
What do you think of Bill 6?
Thank you, Olivia. Olivia would like to know what we think of Bill 6, and I certainly can start, or I would ask council to start. Would you like me to start? All right. Okay, Olivia, what I've written down is that Bill 6, of course, being a farm and ranch workplace legislation, at face value, which means the way it is, that Bill 6 itself covers farm workers' safety, and to me it's the same as other workers in the province. So it's really all about a safety concern, and so I'm going to say that I am in favor. However, I did not like the process that the current government did in the province, because here at the town of Olds, we really encourage and we really make sure that we do a lot of public engagement. We really do believe that we need to consult and keep the public, people, your parents, and even you, if you'd like to be interested, involved and communicate to you what the reason is we're doing something before we vote on it. And they kind of didn't do that, but it did need to be done. Anybody else like to speak to Bill 6? Councillor Walsh?
Yeah, Bill 6, as the mayor has described, is protect workers, which is a good thing. What's bad about the process is that the regulations haven't even been written yet for Bill 6. So the bill's passed, but there's no regulations that support it. And the government can change regulations at will, so a lot of people are upset with it. So I understand that part of it also.
Do we have another councillor that would like to speak? Oh, certainly. Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. Olivia, I know that what the other counselors have said is probably correct, and I agree with them that it's an important bill. I was thinking about, and I didn't attend, but I heard from a number of people who attended the session for Bill 6 here in town, which was held at the Cow Palace. And a lot of people were disgruntled and dissatisfied with the particular process because really they didn't get a chance to explain what they were thinking about the bill. So again, the process seems to be out of whack. It doesn't seem to be appropriate for the presentation. And again, like Councillor Walsh said, they haven't even written the regulations, which means they can almost do exactly what they want. They won't, of course, because now they're starting to get much more feedback from the farmers across the province. And so they will have to definitely double think about what they're going to put in that particular bill. Thank you.
Councillor,
I'll just add a couple of words myself. Bill 6, I agree, it is a safety concern. We all need and deserve to work in a safe environment. So on that regard, I respect worker safety. But having the process where the government just came and said, okay, this is how it's going to be, and it's going through, not having enough speaking engagements for the public, it would be like your principal saying to you, oh, by the way, you can't wear blue jeans ever again, and it's not written anywhere in any policy. You never heard of it until now, and all of a sudden, you're not going to be allowed to wear blue jeans. So that's my comment.
hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about how we feel, and it seems to be collective around our table that public engagement is key to get a positive reaction with people. Very good, thank you for that question. Now, next on our list would be, I would be looking for Mr. Adam.
Hello?
Hello.
Really close to your lips.
What do you think about the economy? And what do you think we should do to make it better?
That's very good. Two very good questions. Again, I could open it to council to start, or if you choose, I certainly can. Councillor Baruchel?
Thank you. That's a good question. I think back to when I was your age, and I'm 47 now, and we've been through a couple of economic downturns in the last 10 years, but I think now we're seeing one that we haven't seen for about 30 years. So it's going to be something that you have to remember as young people. Remember how difficult times were, so that when times do turn around and we have a good economy, that you save your money when things are good, and because the nature of the resource economy is sort of the boom and the bust. So I remember times in the 80s, and my dad was in oil field services, and he struggled, and he had to do different things to put food on the table and pay for his family. So now that's, I think, what's going to have to happen as we get as people go through some difficult times. There's going to be a shift, and people are going to, unfortunately, may have to do some different things, but we're hardworking Albertans, and we're resilient, and we'll get through it, and times will be good again. And we just have to remember that just like my grandparents, when they went through the Depression, we used to have a hard time understanding why maybe they were grew their own vegetables and did some of those kind of things, because they grew up in tough times and they had to survive, and we'll be okay, and things will be good again. And we just have to remember that we do go through these booms and busts in Alberta.
Well, I'm going to add on to what Councillor Baruchel said for the second half of the question, since he touched on some of the things that I felt, what do you think we should do to make it better? And then I'll back cast after the other councillors have had an opportunity to speak. But what can we do to make it better? Well, Councillor Baruchel talked about food and how, since he shared his age with you, but even further back than that, my family did the same thing. And one of the things we do have to remember in hard times is the toys and things that you have are wants. There's needs in life too, and there's needs in life for communities. And those commodities are what we need to provide. We need to provide you clean drinking water. We need to provide you garbage pickup, those things you really need. And I would say that, in my mind, that food resources that he touched on, growing your own garden and trying to keep your food longer during the winter so it lasts longer, so your parents don't have to go out and constantly spend money, would be a resource that is something that is truly in order for us to work with. And another thing that a municipality or a town has to do is we need to make sure that when we budget your mom and dad's money, that we need to make sure our debts need to be paid off first before we buy other things, because we need to make sure that we're a good, strong community. And I would also say that something that would work for new projects or things that we have to build new in the future may have to be longer term, like the infrastructure, maybe a P3 arrangement. When I say P3, that means a partner relationship with other people, entrepreneurs or business people, other than spending your mom and dad's taxes all the time. So we'll go back to the first question and see if any other councillors would like to add anything to that. Councillor Walsh, what do you think of the economy?
It sucks right now. So. No, the economy, the global economy, it's down a little bit. But here in Alberta, we feel the pain because of oil prices, and we really have no control over the oil prices. And that's how Alberta, basically governments depend on royalties a lot for a lot of the work that they do within our province. So we're all hurting that way, especially even municipalities. But when you start thinking about what makes it better, from a municipal point of view, oil is cheap now. So asphalt for paving highways and that is cheaper. We can do more, or we can do the same for less price. So on the optimistic side, that works quite well. And if we do budget to do our roads and streets and that contractors are bidding, and their bids come in a little bit lower because they want the job. So we can do a bit more, and we can keep people employed by doing that type of thing. So that's what we can do. So thanks for a very tough question. You've got to be an economist someday, I can see.
One other thing that you have to think about in the economy is when you think about the word economy in a community is, and we think about this in a good way, is communication through technology. And if you have good communication with technology and growing technology, it enhances and increases the growth capacity in your business. Your businesses can thrive a little better with the global economy. And what else does it do? It helps fill the gaps in areas. I also think that we need to, I don't know if you learned about this, but you will be soon, is risk management. Risk management is really important when it comes to the economy, and your town councillors and the staff that we work with have to make sure that it's key for council. So technology is an investment, you could call it a trend, but we believe that in the downturn times, it is the long-term future, because people like you, yourself, or maybe your mom and dad, you're the customers and you're demanding, and we have to be able to provide for you. So if we have good technology that pays us back in our community, like ONET does, then we're better off than a lot of other communities. We have to find resources that pay us back within our own community. So that was an excellent question. And we can sure talk about it again anytime you like. All right? Okay, it's 20 after, so we'll move along. Thank you very much. And now we'll ask, is this, oh yes, Wyatt's back up. Wonderful.
What do you like about being a town council?
Okay, so town councillors, I could start with Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Wyatt. I like to be in public service. So public service means giving back to where you live. I volunteered in different places where I've lived regularly, and once you volunteer and you see that you can help your community get better, the next step for me was going for public service to continue that and not making our community better and making it attractive so people want to move to our community. And we have more amenities like businesses or sports fields, and we want more people to come and live here. And my view of the town in 20 to 25 years, I just want to help make that picture a bright picture. Thanks.
Councillor Duryea.
Thank you, Your Worship. My thoughts echo exactly what Councillor Bennett had to say. I appreciate living here in Olds. I want to make Olds a better place. This is the format that I have chosen to do that. So from a political point of view, we can exercise our rights as a community to build Olds up and make it a place where it's a healthy place, it's a safe place, it's a fun place to be, and economically it can continue to grow. The other part is I enjoy working with the citizens of the town, and I enjoy hearing their points of view. I think it's important that as town council we consider what the townspeople would like as far as safety is concerned or health or other issues that we deal with. So those are some of my thoughts. I also should say too that I enjoy working with the members of council and administration. That's also a great opportunity for me to share some thoughts and feelings with others.
Councillor Baerschel.
You put me on the hot seat, now I have to say a bunch of great things about my fellow councillors. I agree with all that they've said, but one of the cool things is I get to sit up here with a microphone, a drawer full of pens, and I quite like that. No, I like one of the neatest things is to listen to different ideas. And I think if you're going to be serve anywhere, it doesn't matter if it's on your local hockey board or any of your sports boards or on a council, you're going to hear different opinions. And I think it's an exciting way to learn and maybe appreciate some different ideas. And I really enjoy that.
And Councillor Walsh.
Yeah, I think we do this because we enjoy it. It's like Councillor Baerschel says, you get to hear a lot of different opinions and you're trying to reconcile what other people are saying and trying to make it work. And it's kind of fun to be part of a democracy. And it's you know, you don't realize it when you're young, but as you grow up and volunteer and you see how things work and you start understanding democracies really work, and it's fun to be a part of that.
Very good question. I know it says counselors, but I'm just going to add that I certainly enjoy working to seek to understand the needs that your mom and dad need to have in their life to keep the community moving. Working with you. You guys are our future leaders. You're going to be sitting in these chairs one day. So we need to really listen to what the new and innovative, the new type of way of thinking that you have in your head at your age is going to be the future. So we have to be open to be able to listen to those things, negotiate about those things, and move those things forward. Because the past is the past, it's history. We can't forget it, but we need to move on big things. And I like to be what I call a servant of service. I like volunteering, and I just love working in community. Thank you for that question, Wyatt. And next up we have Miss Alona. Alona, is that correct? Aliona?
What do you think the biggest problem facing the town of Olds is right now?
Wow, that's a good one. All right, we'll go with who would be interested in speaking to this, and then we'll work from there. Councillor Walsh?
I don't know if I call it a problem, but the biggest challenge is our infrastructure. It's maintaining and ensuring that it works well for everybody. Like we look after sewer lines and water lines and roadways. And that's some of the hugest costs that we look at, and we need a budget for it. You can imagine in your home, if your water lines are leaking or your sewer lines are leaking, it's not a pleasant place to be. So that's what we need to do in this town. And some of it's over 100 years old, and replacing it, I think it costs maybe $1 million just to repair a whole block within the city. with water lines, sewer lines, and roadways. So that's a huge challenge.
It's also a huge challenge for us to move people and transportation, to make sure everybody gets where they need to get safely. It's becoming a little harder to do in the future as we grow, pushing 10,000 people and having new areas. Like you go to school at out on the very west end of town. It's a new subdivision out there, and we have to be able to move people and move transportation, cars and buses. That tends to be, I'm not going to say the biggest problem we have on our plate, but one that we do need to resolve in the future planning, for sure. Anybody else like to add? Councillor Duryea?
Thank you, Worship. Aliona, I think the biggest problem we face as a town is complacency. In other words, people not really caring about what happens in their town. The more people that we have that care about the town, the more ideas we will hear, the easier it will be for us to move ahead and make Olds a better place. If people just don't care, it's very hard for us to know what it is the townspeople want to make Olds a better place. So I hope that in your class in grade 6, your teacher talks to you about making where you live a better place by being active and not just sitting around waiting for things to happen, but rather going forward and making things happen so that you and your friends and your families can have a better environment.
Anything else? I think I'll also add we have an item on our town council agenda today if you had an opportunity to look at it. And one of the bigger things that we're facing with right now would have to do with our community standards bylaw as well. It's a bylaw in the town of Olds that we're putting a whole bunch of bylaws into one and trying to make it more user-friendly for your parents and you and us and our administration and the whole town of Olds to understand. The thing is that we have to make it a win-win for everybody, for your mom and dad and for the citizens of Olds as well as for us, because we have to enforce it. And that's what the community is telling us. They're telling us, we want you to enforce your bylaws. If you say you're going to do this, well then do it. And in order for us to do it, we had to compile the information into, and I'm going to just use an example, like when you write a report for your teacher, you put all your information into a report. We're going to put bylaws all into one bylaw. And that way you can find it easier. You just have to go on the website and punch community services bylaw. And wow, I wonder what they're going to do if I don't put my cat on a leash. If you have to, at least it'll tell you. So thank you very much for your question. We'll keep moving on. And the next, Mr. Sam.
How can you make the town of Olds a better place?
With people like you. You guys are interested in wanting to know what's going on. I certainly think that we can help you with some good answers, but making a community a better place is public engagement, speaking to you, and you know what the biggest thing is, and the years that I've been working here, is that people just assume that we know everything, but we don't. We don't know everything. We're only as good as the information you guys give us. If there's a problem and you don't tell us, but you tell everybody else, it's not going to get solved. So never be afraid to email and tell us what your problem is, or tell us when you're happy about something too. So I'll open the floor to council at this time. Any further comments? How can we make this a better place? All right, Councillor Baruchel.
Find something that you love to do and volunteer. If you have a passion for something, maybe you love gardening. Maybe you can be part of the gardening club or something. But you know, if you can have a passion, we have a lot of passionate volunteers in our community that, but we can always use more, and it's important to be involved.
The town of Olds has 2,000 volunteers. I'm pretty sure it's almost pushing that work in different areas in the town. And you know what, if we didn't have those people that love to do those things, that are passionate about, do you play hockey? Do you do sports? I'm sure there's something you really like to do. And if you volunteered in that area, it would make it easier for somebody else, because it kind of, it's like it just goes down the line, and it's like paying it forward. You're paying it forward to make where you live a better place. That's a very good question. Councillor Duryea?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would also add to what's been said, and that is, even though all of you, Sam, and your classmates are in grade 6, it's still important to be informed. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I hope that all of you read the newspaper. If you don't read the newspaper, it at least gives you an idea of what some of the issues and what some of the facts are, and you will become better informed. Then you can say, hey, I'm not sure we should be doing that, or hey, that's a good idea. But if you don't become informed, even at grade 6 and above, you get kind of lost in these things, and you don't form an opinion, or sometimes you don't generate ideas. So try to stay informed.
Thank you. That's a good question. I think that's Sam's mic, but it doesn't matter. All right, well, let's keep moving along. I know you're on a schedule, and we've got 15 minutes left, and we would like to make sure we get to catch you at the door before you head out. All right, the next question is actually for Austin, but I believe we've already answered this, Austin. The one about how long have you been the mayor? Would you like to ask a different question, Austin? I'd really like to, you can ask anything you like. You can certainly re-ask the question and I'll answer it again, but you can even think of something different if you like. How about I help you out? So I've been the mayor, like I said, 13 years right now, and I've seen a lot of new things come in the community. And can you help me answer what a couple of those new things might be?
Are you going to add like any other things to parks and recreations?
That's a great question. Wow. Well, as you know, I'll start out and then open the floor and even perhaps ask our Chief Administrative Officer to help us out on that, because he sometimes knows secrets we don't know. But as you know, the Centennial Park is probably what we call the hub of our community, where we've got now the skateboard park, the splash park, Christmas displays. We have all our Canada Day there. We have all those wonderful things there. So of course we're always looking for feedback from community, but we're also interested in what the people think about arts and culture, and perhaps you might want to see some sculptures there or some pretty, other things. But let's ask our Chief Administrative Officer if his staff could help us with this question. Mr. McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thanks for the question. We do have plans to increase our inventory of parks and recreation. Up where your school is, for example, the developer there is just going to redo what they call their area structure plan, and that's a plan that they bring to town council and say, here's what we think we want to build in that area. Do you agree with that? And there will be more parks in that area structure plan, so you can look forward to a new park close to your school. You can also, I know that there's a plan for the playground that's just right outside of your school right now, and there's some pretty cool stuff that's being contemplated there, like buddy benches and those types of things, and I think you guys have probably had some input into designing that stuff. So yes, as our community continues to grow, you will see more parks and open spaces as part of that growth.
You were really good at thinking on your feet. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You should be a counselor. Wow. Okay, we'll pass the mic now down to Connor.
What do you think of the present bylaws?
I think they're a lot of work, but no. They are a lot of work, but they have to be, because that's what we use to enforce our town of Olds. And I'm going to open the floor once again. I did speak a little bit about the community standards bylaw, which is one that's been ongoing for over a year and a half, and we're getting close to giving it first reading, but we're still sharing information that we've received from community. So I'll open the floor to council at this time. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you very much for the question, Connor. The present bylaws are, some of them are being changed to become part of community standards bylaw. And people always ask, why do we need them? And it gives us a chance to have a safe environment to live in so that you feel safe at night and you feel safe going to school in the morning. Bylaws normally show respect for our neighbors. It's not that we're trying to put rules on them, we're just showing respect for each other. And if we all look after our own properties and our animals, and we drive the speed limit, those kinds of bylaws are important for safety and just having a nice community. Thank you.
And bylaws also set rates that your mom and dad have to pay, for example, for water and utilities and those kind of things. Councillor Duryea?
Thank you, Your Worship. So, Connor, do you think you're going to change in about 2 years? Do you think you're going to grow taller, stronger, be faster, be smarter?
Well, the smarter thing will probably yes, but everything else, no.
Okay, you're doomed. No, the reason I asked that, Connor, is because in the past year and a half, the town, if you think of it as a person, has changed. It's grown, it's expanded, there are different people in town. And so when we look at, which we started about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, with the bylaws, we said, are these applicable now? Do these make any sense for the people who live in town now? So we decided, you know what? Let's hold a couple of public meetings and ask people to come in and tell us what they think about our present bylaws, because our town has changed. So now we're in the process of trying to put all of the information that we've gathered from the public and put those into the bylaws so that, again, as we've stressed, Olds is a safe place and that we respect one another as neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful question. We have 10 minutes left, so we're going to go on to the next question. It's for Annabelle. Hi, Annabelle.
Hi. What happens when you are voting on something and there is a tie?
That's a very good question. I'll answer that as the mayor. So as you can see, we're compiled of 6 councillors. So we have 6 councillors and then we have the mayor. We all have equal voting rights. We all have 1 vote. Now, if 6 people, if we have a tie because we're missing somebody, I'm here to break that vote or that tie. So, you know, we don't have 3 and 3, we have 3 and 4. If we're missing myself as the mayor, or we don't have what we call a quorum to make or break that tie, the vote is lost. If you have a tie, the vote is lost. It's gone, off the table. That's why it's always good to have a full table, everybody around the table. It doesn't always happen that way, but thank you for that question. And the next question is from Joshua, Mr. Joshua.
How long has it been since your last election?
Thank you, Joshua, and again, I'll answer that due to time here. The last election of the elected officials at this table was in 2013, and it's called a term that will end in October 2017. So it'll be a 4-year term from October to October. Thank you. And finally, Mr. Jacob.
Do you always get along with each other during council meetings? What do you do if there is a disagreement?
Jacob, is it your dad that teaches air cadets?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I know he's off to Seattle, so it'll be kind of like what your dad does when he's teaching air cadets. I'm going to say yes, we always get along. However, we may agree to disagree. So we have what we call a vibrant debate, where one council will say yes, and another councilor or mayor will say no. So it's not that we don't get along, but we agree to disagree. We have the debate at the table, and then when we call for the vote, if the vote is passed, we all agree when we leave the table, the debate is over. And if it's defeated, it's defeated. So that's a great question. All right, we have to get you back on the bus, and we'd like to give you a little gift. The best way for that to happen is for myself, on behalf of all the counselors here today and our administration and staff, is to say thank you very much for taking the time to leave your school and come here. It's easy for me to go there, but it's much nicer for you to speak to council as a whole, because I'm only one person that speaks on behalf of 7. It's good for you to hear from everybody, so I sure hope you come back again next year. This is a much better way to do things. All right? So before you leave, I'm going to ask council if we can all meet by the back door, and there's some bags here that Marcy's made up for little gifts for the students. I guess she wants to get a picture first. So let's. Where do you want the picture? Should we raise them? Come on over, kids.
Why don't you do it right in front of the council table here? All right.
Oh, that is so cool. Come on, stand in front of us, kids.
Right here.
But if you're taller than me, you're going to have to kneel down.
Okay, guys. We can strategically place you in the picture. How's that? Okay. Just come right with me. Come on in, Jacob. In there. We'll see your pink hoodie. How's that? There. Yeah. Got hide it. It's a covert operation.
No.
Oh, cutie patootie in the front, put that paper down. Come on now. Thank you.
I want to see your beautiful face.
Yeah, you got the best smile.
Thanks for coming. Yay. Perfect. Good.
All right. Just hang on first. Hang on. Count the paper.
Oh, if we wait here, we'll get a thing.
Can we get a picture with the mayor?
You want to stay?
Once you've got your bag, go line up at the door.
So you have a bigger lunch when you're welcome.
Got the timing. Did you want to sit down and get this? So let's read the motion. Are we going to enjoy that?
I know. One notebook, one pencil. You give me this. One eraser.
All right, you're good at that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's fine. It's fine? Yep.
Pencil.
Okay, we still got 15 minutes. Oh, listening to takers.
Okay.
So have a seat, and I'll tap you on the shoulder. Time to vote. And then you can watch them. They'll make some motions and raise their hands, and they'll vote. So you guys can kind of watch that process. All right? Okay, you guys can need to have a seat again, just until your bus is here. We don't have a bus.
Olds Community TV, your go-to channel for news and information in Olds, Alberta.